Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game Till the Last Gasp. This was sent to me by Darrington Press, and is designed by Will Hiddenmarch and Alex Roberts. Till the Last Gasp draws steel and goes for the heart. This is a storytelling game as much about your character's innermost feelings as it is about armor or weapons. A duel flourishes to life with the drama you bring to each move. Reflect the heat of your conflict in your surroundings. Smash faces, swing from chandeliers, scar machinery with laser swords. Let me show you how to play. So until the last gasp, you are doing a one-on-one duel. You can create duelists. They also give you these character sheets you can use that just sort of give you like default characters if you just want to jump in, like Saida, the Pirate Queen, or Captain Theb Claxor. You can see that they have motivations, what they're notorious for, what they're recognized by. And they give you some blank sheets as well if you want to make your own characters. So this is kind of more like a collaborative story than a game. You basically are working together to sort of build a story and agree on what kind of duel you want to play out, what topics you'd rather avoid, things like that. The game does come with an X card. This is a tool that if any player is uncomfortable with content or something like that, you can just tap the card or bring it out just to communicate, hey, like, I don't want to bring that up into this this duel, which I think is a nice little feature. The game comes with several maps. This is just one of them, the Galactic Consortium Citadel. You can see they all have, there's a bunch of different settings, and they all have different sort of locations on them that we'll get to in a second. And yeah, basically you are just trying to figure out a reason for your characters to fight. Because again, this really is more of a storytelling thing than a concrete game, although there are mechanics. A lot of the rule book really goes into like, what are your characters' motivations? So I'm not going to go into all that because it really just depends on how you want to do it. But then once you've decided your characters and why they're fighting and such, then you have to set the stakes. So if you look here, they have this sort of meter, and you can decide, like, are your characters trying to kill each other to the last gasp? It's like someone's getting exiled, just want to defeat them. You can kind of like, decide how high the stakes are for your characters. And at any time, you can also just change it. If you're like, maybe it gets real bad and they want to kill each other. Or maybe they come to respect each other and they just want to defeat each other. It's really very flexible on how you want to go about it. Now let's dig into a little more about the actual mechanics. To bring your duel to an end, you'll need to complete at least 4 rounds and accomplish at least 3 objectives. So objective cards look like this. Like here's the thrill-seeking one. It says stuff like, put your foe in the reckless stand and then gloat about it. Compel your foe to draw drama at least twice. Move the duel to an adjacent area at least twice in 1 round. These are the sort of objectives you can try to do. At the beginning, you draw 3, and you choose whichever one seems most interesting to you. As you complete objectives, you can mark that you've done them with these tokens, and you only need to complete 3 of these to win the duel. Then they encourage you to describe how your character shows up, or pose a question to the other player about your character. Just adding as much flavor as you'd like, really, because you kind of need flavor for this game. It's not really a strong game on its own. But you do have dice, and what you do is when you ready your weapon, you take 5 edge dice out of your dice pool. You'll place them in dice slots, divided however you prefer, between protective and offensive sides. And these dice are ready to be rolled to generate action points in upcoming rounds. So I could be like, I'll do 3 protective dice and 2 offensive dice. You can only roll dice which are already ready, and every time you roll one, it returns to your dice pool. You'll also roll a d20 that'll generate action points at the start of a round. So once you start your duel, you divide your 5 edge dice like however you want. If you are in a specific, like a protective or quick stance, you can roll any number of dice on your protective side. If you're in an offensive or quick stance, you can do the ones on your offensive side. Now here's how a turn works. You will each pick what's called a stance card. I'll go into these in a second, but you'll pick one face down, and then you will both simultaneously reveal it. Then you'll roll your dice, depending on what you picked for your stance. So if I picked a bold stance, I would roll the dice on the offensive side. Once you roll these dice, they are no longer readied. They will be put back in your pool, and you'll have to ready them later. So I'll take those dice. Let's say I played bold and I rolled these. So I got a 19, a 6, and a 3. Now, looking at this table here, you will compare your results to count up your available action points. You don't add the dice together. You count each individual one. So the 19, that is 4 action points. And then the 3 and the 6, that's 1 and that's 2. So that's a total of 7 action points. Any dice that you rolled, they get placed in your dice pool. You'll have to ready them later. Then whoever rolled the higher number on the dual die gets to go first. So then you do what's called a turn. A turn consists of 1 action. Looking at your stance, you can pick one of these actions to do. So this one, rattle your foe into the reckless stance, that costs 3 action points. Change your stance to quick or wary is 2. You and your foe each draw 1 drama card, that's 2. Land a hit on your foe, they describe the injury. You can also do what's called a flex action, which destroys scenery. Once you run out of action points, you can't use any more actions for the turn. These flex actions are a flexible number, 1 to 3, because sometimes if you just want to, use up action points, you can use that to do so. The game will often prompt you to draw drama cards, like this one here. You and your foe each draw 1 drama. Drama cards look like this, and they'll say something like, show compassion for your foe, or imagine out loud what you would do differently if you could. Boast about your wit or wisdom. These are all sort of like storytelling beats that they encourage you to do to sort of, change up what's happening in the scene. Once both players run out of actions and move their tokens accordingly to the next round, you'll keep going like that. Now, if at least 4 rounds have been completed, any player who's completed 3 of their objectives can choose to use the action End the Duel Decisively, which costs 4 action points and can be used in any stance. One other thing I should mention is that this location tracker token tracks where you are on the board. And as you can see, depending on the spot you're on, there are different effects. So for example, on this map, the reception bay, once each round, describe how your fight scandalizes onlookers to gain an additional action point. This one costs 2 action points. The amphitheater, take the fight onto the stage to make you and your foe each draw 1 drama. The balconies, when you enter this area, both players must immediately spend 1 action point, or be overwhelmed by the dizzying height, which rattles you. If already rattled when you enter, lose 1 action point instead. The throne room, make an impassioned speech from the throne using 2 action points to ready 1 edge die. So depending on how certain actions can move you guys around, there will be different effects. And I kind of went over this before, but rattled is one of the stance cards you can have, either reckless or defensive, and they all have different effects. I'm not going to go through all these because they're all kind of samey, but they do a lot of, changing stances, making people draw drama cards, that sort of thing. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. You just try to get your specific objectives done, and that's the game. So this one was interesting. I had like a decent time with it, but I really think there is a specific audience for this. If you like role-playing, then you'll like this. And if you do not like role-playing, then you should avoid this game like the plague, because that is literally all this is just role-playing. Really, to me, the weakest parts are the gameplay, which feel like these very arbitrary objectives that don't feel intuitive or particularly interesting. The locations, little spots feel kind of repetitive and uninteresting. The readying of dice felt a little clunky. It is unfortunately kind of a clunky and not particularly engaging experience gameplay-wise. It's not bad, but it's not great. The strength of the game is in its drama cards. They give you these really fun thematic prompts to respond to things in character. This is the direction the game should have leaned in. I do not enjoy the gameplay in this at all, but almost despite that, because the role-playing and the drama cards and the improv was fun, I could turn the clunky gameplay into something that was fun. But there just isn't enough meat on these gameplay bones to be satisfying. So honestly, I would have just nixed the gameplay and gone for more of like a party game feel, where it's even more about the improv than these like very strict, rigid, oh, do these 4 things. it's not particularly fun. Bottom line, this isn't going to replace actual role-playing. It feels more like a tool to help people who are interested in role-playing, but maybe they're not necessarily confident or experienced enough to dive right in, so this can kind of, guide you. I can appreciate it for that purpose, but man, I wish the gameplay was either more fun or just pivot away from it and make it less of a focus and make it a little more just about the purely the role-playing.